All right, let's get right into it. The Indian auto market is an absolute giant, and there's a huge new player getting ready to step into the public arena. We are talking about Cars24, and believe me, this could be one of the biggest IPOs to watch.
Now, to really wrap your head around the opportunity here, you just have to look at this number, $200 billion. That's the estimated size of the used car market in India. It is a colossal pie, and the fight to get the biggest slice is really heating up.
So what we have here is a classic showdown. In one corner, you've got CarTrade, the established player that's already trading on the stock market. And in the other corner, you have the challenger, Cars24, a massive unicorn that is officially planning to throw its hat in the ring with an IPO of its own. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down for you. We'll start with the IPO news, look at how Cars24 has completely transformed its business, check out its growth engine, dive into the financials, see how it stacks up against the competition, and finally, ask the big question for investors. So let's start with what's new. You know, right now, if you want to put your money into this space through the stock market, CarTrade is pretty much your only option. But that's all about to change because a new heavyweight is getting ready to enter the ring. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting. It's all about how Cars24 has evolved. See, they didn't just stay as a simple website where you can buy or sell a car. No, their real power today comes from moving way beyond that. They've built what's called an end-to-end vehicle ownership platform. So what does that actually mean? Well, think of it like this. They're not just interested in that one-time sale. They've created an entire ecosystem to handle everything. Financing, insurance, servicing, you name it. The goal is to keep you in their world long after you've driven the car off the lot. And a huge piece of this puzzle was some really smart acquisitions they made. When they bought platforms like Team BHP and CarInfo, they weren't just buying websites. They were buying huge, passionate communities and a mountain of data. That's an incredible advantage when you're trying to build trust with customers. And you can literally see how they built this, layer by layer. They started with the core business, buying and selling. Then they added insurance. Then a way to pay your traffic fines or challans. Then guaranteed buybacks. They even added chauffeur services. The whole idea is to become the only app a car owner in India ever needs.
Okay, so that's the big idea. It sounds great on paper, but, strategy is one thing. Do the numbers actually back it up? Let's take a look.
First, let's talk valuation. Back in 2021, the company was already valued at an eye-watering $3.3 billion. This isn't some small startup. It's a certified unicorn, and a big one at that. And what about actual people using the platform? Get this. In just the first half of fiscal year 2026, they had 1.1 crore. That's 11 million monthly active users. That is a massive audience, not just in India, but stretching across the UAE and Australia too. And these aren't just people window shopping, right? That engagement leads to real deals. In that exact same 6-month window, they processed transactions for 85,000 vehicles. That's enough to make them the largest online player for used cars in every market they operate in. And it looks like they have no plans of slowing down. For the full fiscal year, they're aiming for 1.8 lakh car deals. That's a pretty clear signal that they are confident they can keep this growth train moving. So the growth story is there, it's strong. But for anyone looking at an IPO, there's always the big burning question. What about the money? Is this growth just coming from burning cash? Or is there a real sustainable business here? Well, let's look at the first half of fiscal year 26. Their revenue? It's up a very healthy 18%, hitting 651 crore rupees. That shows that their whole ecosystem strategy is definitely working to bring in more money. But, and this is the part that'll make investors' ears really perk up, it's not just about earning more. They're spending smarter, too. In the same period, they actually cut their losses by 36%. Growing your revenue while shrinking your losses, well, that's the magic formula every investor is looking for. And it looks like this positive trend is set to continue. They're projecting over 750 crore rupees in revenue for the second half of the year, which will put them on track for a blockbuster year overall. So, all of this brings us to the main event. Once Cars24 finally hits the stock market, how is it going to fare against its biggest rival, CarTrade? Let's put them head to head. When you put them side by side, you see two totally different playbooks. Cars24 is all about building that integrated ecosystem, that walled garden of services. CarTrade, on the other hand, is playing the role of the great consolidator, buying up huge names like OLX India's auto business.
So the real question for investors is which strategy wins? Is it deep integration or is it massive scale through acquisitions? This is going to be a fascinating battle to watch. Okay, so after looking at the market, the model, the growth, and the competition, it all comes down to this. What's the bottom line for a potential investor? First things first, let's be clear. This isn't some rumor. It's coming straight from the top. The founder and CEO himself, Vikram Chopra, has confirmed it. They are actively planning to go public within the next year. So let's just recap the big picture here. You've got a massive $200 billion market. You've got a company that's built a really sticky, all-in-one platform. You've got incredible growth in both users and sales, and maybe most importantly, you have solid revenue growth happening at the same time they're cutting their losses. That is a very, very powerful narrative. We'll have to wait for the final IPO details, of course. But what's clear is that the Indian used car market is about to become a major battleground on the stock exchange. So the question really becomes, when this IPO does drop, where are you going to place your bet? Will it be on the integrated ecosystem of Cars24 or the acquisition-fueled empire of CarTrade? It's definitely one to keep a very close eye on.